Today, we're going to talk about a very important issue in the tank. A lot of hobbyists overlook it, and it's the lighting. Since the tank is winding down, I've decided to make more educational videos, not just on the fish, but how to take care of them. Now, lighting. There are many different variations in lighting, from your power compacts to your T5s to your T8s to your T12s. If you want to go DIY, I guess you could go with some grow bulbs, maybe some yellow metal halides. They might burn your tank up though, I don't know about those. And you can get the metal halides for tanks, the hybrid lights, LEDs, which are new on the market. There are a lot of variations. So the beginner might ask, which one do I get? And if you're used to the regular kind of light that's on this tank, which is a T8, you're probably thinking, okay, why would I pay $70 to $80 for a T5 with 2 strips for this tank when I can buy a light that's 20 watts with just T8 and it'd be $20 for this tank? I'd rather pay 20 than 70. Well, you don't have to have a T8 or T5. You don't have to have T5 or power compact or metal halides if you have only fish only. If you have plants, it's a different matter. You can't stock your tank with plants that require different light variations unless you have some way to have the plants rise up in the tank so they can get more lumen and power, and that's basically the light spectrum. Now, metal halides, I want to talk about those first. Metal halides they're great, but they can be devastating for your tank too. More than likely you will have an algae bloom and a bacteria bloom when you switch to metal halides. And metal halides, they should not be for the shallow tank. It will burn everything in your tank. And most of the time with metal halides, you're going to need a chiller. I only recommend metal halides if you have a 55 or above, or a very tall tank. Maybe you can get away with it on a 29 gallon, but it's still risky in my opinion. You just get too much light in too small of a volume of water. It's just not going to be good for your tank. So the metal halides, they're great, and you can choose different kind of bulbs like any other kind of light. You can go from a blue look to a yellow look to a red look to a white look. Any color you want. And with live planet tanks, as we're talking today, not saltwater, only fresh, you want more of you want the opposite of the corals, basically. So, for, let's say, a 29 gallon, I would go with either power compacts or T5s. When I upgrade, I'm going with T5s. So let's talk about power compacts. Power compacts are great. They are. They're convenient because they, the space, you don't have to have this big thing like a metal halide. It runs more bulbs, and it runs like 2 to 4 on each ballast. It's basically kind of like a fork. You've got your handle as a ballast, and the sharp parts on the fork are the bulbs. And on the ends of the bulbs, they'll have like a U, so they attach. So you get 2 to 4 bulbs in one. It's a lot more light, and it saves you the money for metal halides. The only downside in power compacts are, I think they have a power strip for each bulb. I'm not too sure about that. And an advantage in power compacts, with more cords, you can cycle the day and night with timers. What I mean by that, you can go from dawn to daylight to dusk and all over again. And the disadvantage with power compacts is the energy bill. It's not going to be tremendous if you're running 1 or 2 tanks, but if you're running a lot of tanks... Okay, I'm back on track a little. This is the main thing you want to do with your light. Get a timer and have no more than 8 hours a day. You think it's crazy, and you're thinking, well, the fish can't see all day, and my plants can't live in 8 hours of light. If you're... If your plants are not living in 8 hours of light, you need to upgrade. That means you have too little light. But you want to have it no more than 8 hours a day. That's what I have it on. I think it comes on, the lights come on maybe at 12 o'clock in the day. Go off, no. They go off at 11 something at night. That way I can enjoy them. I think they come on maybe at like 2. Something like that. Now, lighting with fish. This is an aspect. This is another reason I wouldn't put metal halides on this tank. Your fish like dark spots. And your fish like to have shade sometimes, you know. It's like on a hot summer day, you don't want to stay in the sun all day. That's why I've created little crevices with rocks. You really can't see it in the video because it's hidden, but there are a lot of shady parts in this tank. And the catfish, oh, they love it. The neon tetras will hide in it, the ram, the beta. The angels, they really just stay everywhere. But you don't want too much light on your fish too, because they just don't like it. Like neon tetras, for example, they love shady spots. What else can I say about light? Do your research and have a plan. That's what's up. You can't go into this hobby, if you want to call it. You can't go into this pet ownership, if you want to call it. You can't go into it and just throw stuff in your tank and think everything's going to live. It might if you get lucky, but eventually you're going to strike out somewhere, and you're just going to strike hard, and you can either cry like a baby and take the tank down and complain about how you wasted your money, or you can get out there and do the research and do what you like doing. I keep fish because, I don't know, when I was little, my mom and dad always kept little goldfish, and they died all the time because they didn't know squat about them. But, I don't know, I liked them, and I just love the water. I love being out in the water and stuff, fishing, you know, everything. And, I don't know, I got attached to it. And then I realized my fish are dying, and I'm like, why are they dying? So I started doing some Google. And throughout the years, I've learned a lot. I'm not an expert yet, but on the next thing below it, I won't call myself an expert until I can withstand corals. Maybe a clam too. After that, I think I'll be an expert. I mean, I know a squat load, but you know, it's a difference from knowing and actually knowing how in general. And what I mean by that, it's like you go to school, say you're going to be a firefighter. Maybe you're on volunteer, maybe you're a professional firefighter. You know, you can read that book all day you want, but it ain't going to do squat to you when you get out in the field and the fire's in your face and you don't know what the hell to do. And that's what I mean by that. But with the tank, guys, everything's coming along. The neon tetras are doing fine. I don't think we're going to lose anymore. I just, like I said in another video, I think I got a batch that was breeded wrong. That way they can get your money and you keep coming back for them. I made a mistake, and I usually do pick out my fish and I'll study them when I go in the pet store, but I figured it's just going to be too much trouble, and why not just have the owner of the pet store just pick out 5 for me. And I figured they'd be alright. I brought them home. They look good. And I was like, they're going to do fine. But they just died. I really think they got bred wrong. But I think they're going to do fine. We'll update you sooner or later whenever something happens in the tank. Maybe I think of some advice. But everybody's doing good. The Angels are doing good. The Beta is still picking on the Ram. I might have to take him out, which I'm really going to hate to do, because he's in a 29 gallon and he'll go into a 2.5. That's just like going from a mansion to a shack. It's going to suck for him, but I can't have him stressing everybody out. It's going to lead to ick and other diseases or death. Stress is the #1 death of fish, and maybe he's the one taking up the Tetris. Not killing them, but he might be stressing them out, leading to death. I don't know. But if he continues to keep messing with that ram or any other fish, I hate to say it, but we're going to take him out. So comment me, rate me, and subscribe me. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I make these videos for educational purposes only. If you want to enjoy it, go ahead, look at my fish. If it relaxes you like me, watch them. But I make these videos because when somebody has a problem with their tank and they go on YouTube, they look it up, maybe, just maybe, this will help them, and maybe it'll prevent the fish from dying. So happy fish keeping and happy reefing and whatnot, and I'll see you the next episode.